guys, welcome back to Owl003. Today we're going to be talking about the target of the Tartarian Empire. The tasking for it was the remote viewer will focus in on the collapse of the Tartarian Empire, then focus on the technologies of Tartarians. Now, I didn't know anything about this. This is a blind target, of course. But also, I just want to make mention, I didn't want my channel to be all about, UFO targets. So many people do these targets now. It's almost, it's getting kind of, I want to do something different. So the one thing I asked was not to be assigned UFO targets. Now, sometimes UFOs show up anyway. Because they just happen to have something to do with, you're doing mystery targets. You don't know what's behind some of this stuff. So anyway, this is what I got. So let's just get into the session. Basic dimensionals, structure going in. So very early on, I almost wanted to draw like the tail section of an airplane is what it reminded me of. But a lot of sounds, wavy textures, clanking sounds, rumbling. It will break airplane. So I had a sense of dimension. So the first big sketch was this, to me, it was like this object was coming out of like the sky or something. Almost like an object coming out of a hole in the sky, like a portal or something. That it would have reminded me of. So I'm getting these ancient structures, and these, as Courtney's team would call them, non-surface structures. Basically, I'm getting a sense of like a dogfight. Between these aerial crafts, and they're just destroying stuff. Just gonna get this, like, to me this feels like this is in the sky. It's like it's almost like a hole in the sky, like a fissure. So when you do a lot of targets, you start to get a sense of flavor of things. And what I mean by that is, like, you could get a sense of an old target happening in the past with like futuristic technology happening. When you do enough of them, you kind of have a feeling of that. When you're inside of like a capsule or a plane, looking like through the glass, you can kind of, you just have this, you know what it feels like. You've experienced it so many times. So that was kind of the flavor. I had a sense this was back in the old times. I had a sense it was, like I said, like there was this battle, and they were, one of them was destroying structures, like these more non-surface structures. Like this guy looks like he was just like shot down or something. So yeah, what I thought was interesting, I wanted to keep drawing these. It reminded me of like the old symbology in like Egypt, or I don't know if it's Egyptian or whatever, but like there's these old symbols of like what they say are like helicopters or something, in ancient symbols. But it kind of reminded me of that. It was like a UFO with a wing. This is what it reminded me of. It's the best way I could describe it. feeling of deserted. Indigenous. I got a sense of indigenous people. Rotational. So again, I'm getting these structures like coming down out of the sky. AOL captive state, like checking on a friend. Got this guy, like that's almost like the guy inside. It's almost like I'm looking inside, seeing him working on the control. He's in a non-surface structure, like in a cockpit. Again, over this land and structure. So I had these tattooed people. The feeling of concern. Go back again, I'm getting people. It's interesting, I just realized I got giant here in my stage 2. There's some mythology around I don't know. About maybe giants being part of their culture, I don't know. I get a sense of immensity here at this target. So again, I'm getting these structures. I feel like I'm getting like two sides. It's almost like one side came out of the sky and started attacking, and then they activated their defenses, and all these other craft started coming. Like folding space. Okay, AOL dynamic discharge. Banging sound, explosive. So, boom, I'm getting this big impact. I actually read AOL break. Boom. You get this playfulness in the sketching, you know, and it's kind of like you're in the scene, you know, and I'm drawing it. I'm like, boo. I'm hearing this loud noise, so rumbling, quaking, cracking. There was an impact. There was impacts going on. It was like being in a war zone. Like a break in space-time. Like a breaking in space-time. So then I've got like these, like this UFO over here on the left. Like doing something to the ground. You know, the structures on the ground. You know, I have AOL like sucking up water, but there was some action, dynamic energy between the UFO there and then the structure on the ground. Felt altruistic. Okay. Planetary wide AOL. Okay, so again, I got these broken structures. This UFO doing something to the structures and to the Earth there. Broken AOL break junction. You can see this broken debris lying around. And again, just, okay, this UFO just breaking stuff up. AOL flagrant violation. AOL break mid-air collision. I guess it was like a dogfight. AOL like forced down. So then I had this guy, like at almost like a pilot, like at a yoke, like trying to keep this thing from going down to the ground. But he went down. He felt dehydrated. This guy felt engaged. I got the sense of separatists. Notch. This sense of barbaric. This felt barbaric to me. This feeling of division between people, between, you know, I had this like tribal warfare. Okay. Aerial acquisition. It's in my signal. A blockade. This idea of measurements being taken. Coastal. This feeling of inclusion. There's somebody that's demanding. the impression of a subsurface. And they had these ancient. I felt like these ancient cultures had some kind of relevance to it. Like ancient Aztecs, righteous people. This idea of symbology, hope, like assembling the herd. Then the name Gilgamesh popped in, which was strange. It was just so high level with that, and it's just such off the wall names. I don't know, but if you look that guy up, it's weird. So it's destroyed. AOL Destroyer of Nations. Feels altruistic, like pygmies, tribal. I had tithing, like tithing, and that came up again. What's most noteworthy here? This sense of shepherding. AOL stories, folk tales. AOL Bronze Age. So I'm feeling around. I'm getting a sense of jasmine, like pharmaceuticals. Supposedly this is an advanced culture. A lot of gold colors. Pharmaceuticals, like philanthropy. Okay, I got a sense of a deity. A hostile environment. Like a chapel. Okay, so separatists. I forgot all about this. Separatists, I got slaves. Separatists, what's attributed to barbarism, ruthless seclusion, invasive behavior. Separatists. Oh, school, stipulation, seclusion. Caretaker. Okay. I think this is my last run at it. I'm impressed. So every time you go back to the same target, it's almost like you unbox it faster and faster. You've played with the pieces. You're more familiar. That's why it usually takes me a few sessions to kind of really open it up. If there's a lot there. Like a rapid descent. So again, I'm getting these bodies lying around like a plane crash. Booming sound. Like dragging or pulling. I don't know what to... Okay. It's an interesting sketch. So again, this I felt like was another one of these wing typed aerial, non-surface moving structures. I don't zooming through the sky. It's just another angle on it. It's the first time I ever felt compelled to, unless it was a straight airplane. So yeah, it was just interesting. Getting more crash. AOL Baltic Sea anomaly. Impacted. AOL break operatives. So I'm just getting kind of lay of the land. I was getting these like pyramidal like structures. Bombing product. People are dead. Destructive force. Dynamic exchange. Like happening over water. Air raid. AOL Foo Fighters. Like a symbolic gesture. Again, so I ask myself again, what's noteworthy here? I get a sense of exchange, idolatry, peacekeeping, a destination, AOL Freemason, regulation, offertory, disciplined, hope, like relinquishing weaponry. Almost like a surrender here. Um, discretionary forces. I got a sense of tithing, parishioners, facial scars, hybrid male, selection committee. Now we're getting maybe some of the technology. I don't know, but hybridization program, AOL tattooed male, skeletal remains, genetic markers. Hello. Territorial. This idea of mimicry. There's a dimensional aspect to this target event. Like harboring a dimensional entity. It's my AOL. But intangibles, I get cryptid, surveillance. This wasn't like a sense of a hopeful telepathic message being given here. Sense of radiant energy. Determined, elusive, cautious, like a rescue mission. Okay, so again, I had the sense there's like there's a book about this. I actually had felt, and I put it somewhere, probably down the line here, that like the Catholic Church knew about this. Like they had some knowledge of this. Secluded, destructive alliance, like keeping a watchful eye. Seminary. Again, it's tablet. Like the Catholic Church knows. That really, I should have put down stage 4.5. Sense of capture, pilgrimage, AOL Somalian pirates. This idea of rehearsal. Okay. Summary consists of male life from a structure and crash. Cool temperature, wet, slippery, and sandy textures. Rumbling and crashing sounds at target area. I sketched multiple non-surface structures and surface structures on page 5. A first session. I sensed an explosion or opening in the sky. I felt the structure was dragged or has made marks where it has landed or crashed. Page 9, first session, life form and crash debris. Page 10, first session, non-surface structure. Zooms across the sky. I felt indigenous people present, electrified and rotational aspects, dynamic, wavy, and explosive dimensions here. I felt a sense of concern for someone's well-being here. There was an altruistic feel to this target. Page 7, second session. I sensed a male life form was struggling to keep their non-surface structure in the air. Life forms here feel engaged, a sense of separatists, and a sense of division. I detect a coastal area and a blockade, a feeling of inclusion and demanding here. I get a feeling of symbology and hope. I get the impression of ancient Aztecs and righteous people. I get the sense of old stories and shepherding, deities and a hostile environment. I get a destructive force, an air raid, and an exchange. Idolatry, peacekeeping, feelings of regulation, discipline, and again, hope. Discretionary forces, tithing, parishioners, a selection committee, a hybridization program, skeletal remains, and genetic markers seem significant. I get the impression of territorial behavior and mimicry, cryptid, surveillance, a hopeful telepathic message, and radiant energy. Secluded, a destructive alliance, seminary, and a tablet. So that's it, guys. By all means, if you guys do the target, let me know what you get. And we'll see you next time.